Welcome back, everybody, for an update on construction progress going on around the Disneyland Resort. And we're starting today at the Mickey and Friends parking structure. We're looking at this is some new, what do you call it, scaffolding, I guess they put up. It's a pathway along Magic Way to show you, again, where that bridge is going to be, that they're going to extend from the Clio parking structure. And we're starting here because I wanted to sort of get an idea. Again, we tried to guess last time we did an update from here where the bridge was going to be, and we were kind of wondering, is it going to be closer to the curb side, or I should say Disneyland Drive side of the intersection, or is it going to be further in, crossing halfway, let's say down Magic Way. And as I walk further down the little pathway that they've constructed here, there's an opening. Now this is probably, I'm assuming, for street traffic, for construction crews and construction vehicles to bring materials in and out, but it also seemed like a fitting place for them to extend the bridge across the way. And if you see here and look directly across the street, you can see that they've started building, or I shouldn't say building, you can see there's demo going on across the street on the pavement in the parking lot. So let's go across the street, and there's the corner of Disneyland Drive and Magic Way, and it is, the construction is about 100 feet or so in, and there's the sectioned off area. So that's obviously where the bridge is going to land. And we actually can take a closer look. There you go. Now this is an interesting, I've never seen I've never seen a bridge built, so I don't know a pedestrian bridge, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like or how complex it is or anything, So again, this is going to be a learning experience for me, but I'm curious to know, it looks like they're building something for support. They're digging in there so they can build something up from that area, kind of like, foundation, but not quite as, expansive, obviously. But that little moat that they're digging there, or I'm assuming again that's part of to build a support. And that's where the bridge is likely to descend onto, and will, the guests will land per se in that area. I asked the question when we talked about this before, how far are they going to extend this bridge? Because if we extend our view from this little area that's under construction, that fence, it's not very big, or the fence line is not very big, and then are guests just going to walk through that parking lot? Right? That doesn't seem likely to me, because that's a buttload of guests, a buttload of people walking, a lot of foot traffic, to drop them off right into the middle of a parking lot. So I have to assume some kind of guest walkway will be appended. So here's another view of the construction site, the landing site for the bridge. And I'm over here because one of the ideas that were floated was maybe they'll run it parallel. First you're going to come down over the bridge, and then they're going to turn guests left and up the side of the parking structure, or the parking lot, I should say, which I guess is less intrusive to guests. There's the edge, but there's still parking spaces there, so you would still be losing parking spaces if that was a concern. I don't know. I don't like this idea, because at the end of that, you still hit Rainforest Cafe. It doesn't connect with the actual entrance to downtown Disney. And we're going to head that way in just a minute, but first, I found these on the ground, and I'm not sure if these are new. These are typical whenever you see construction going on. You see them sort of mark off these areas, and I'm curious if anybody can decode that. First of all, what do they mean? DLB, Disneyland Boulevard? I don't know. But the A+05 is obviously some sort of surveying code or surveying figure. Just like, what was the other one? DLB again, 2+75 POC, point of something. If anybody can, if there are surveyors out there that can decode that, I'd be interested to know. But otherwise, I'd also like to know if those are old, because there were plans to demo this lot, right? Well, not demo it, but reduce it in order to build the hotel. However, the hotel is going to be constructed on I guess what you call the forward half of the parking lot, and the rear half was supposed to stay, if I recall. So they wouldn't have been doing any construction. So my assumption, my instinct is to say that these are newly painted codes on the ground, and I'd be curious to know what those are, what they mean. I see those everywhere, and if somebody could educate me on how to translate that, we could uncover all kinds of information. So I walked it all the way down to near the bag check area. There's the construction site again there along those tree lines, and that's the walk that if you were to draw a straight line from the bridge to downtown Disney, that's the walk that guests would have to make. The one that I'm assuming will be set aside for guests. And it makes sense for that to go straight through because that will empty you right into the bag check area right there that you can see. And on the other side of the bag check is, currently ESPN's own Rainforest Cafe and Movie Theater, the entrance to downtown Disney. I'd be curious to know what your, philosophies, I guess, for there are ways to best handle guest traffic, especially in crowded areas, especially in highly trafficked areas with a lot of cars. How do you negotiate guests walking through there? As I reflect on that, I think about the Mickey and Friends parking lot where guests routinely walk between cars, lots of them, just as many as who would be crossing that bridge. So maybe it is possible that you don't have to create a dedicated pedestrian walkway in the middle of a parking lot. Just walk anywhere in the mid or Mickey and Friends parking structure, and you can see guests walking amongst the cars all the time. So I guess it's reasonable that they don't do that or don't need to. I don't know. It just feels like I feel like there would be though quite a few people because it's not like in the parking structure. It's whatever's happening in that area at that time, that level and that aisle is where the pedestrian traffic is. Otherwise, there aren't very many people walking around up there. But you consolidate all those guests into one walkway, and that does become more of a safety concern. And when you consider the fact that this bridge is built to create more safety for guests, it would defeat the purpose to do all that and then dump them into the middle of a parking lot. So I guess I can see it happening either way. Let's head into the park and take a look at the Matterhorn, where we're closing in. We're 2 weeks away from the opening, or thereabouts, and we're starting to see where things are getting finalized. Well, there's still a lot of dirt on the ground, as you can see. We'll stop it here. Still, you can see there's plenty of dirt, but it doesn't take much to put pavement down there, and we're starting to see a little definition on those areas that are being completed. You can see the final shape of that planter right there in the middle. The final shape of that planter there, and the trees, lots and lots of trees, and we're going to do it before and after on the other side. But they put in quite a few trees, which is great. Let's continue around the front side for our usual view. It's been so much fun. I have to say, it's been so much fun watching this progress, more so than anything else we've done recently, watching the Matterhorn progress, because we've watched sort of their plan evolve. With Galaxy's Edge, we have a blueprint, and it's taking a long time. It's not a rapid thing. But it's been fascinating watching what they're, because we don't know what this, does anybody know what the final product is supposed to look like? I don't know. So I've really enjoyed this. But in any case, last week I talked about how it was getting difficult to see the old from the new, and what I meant to say in that sense was that I've already forgotten what it used to look like. This is now the new look. But one of the other reasons why I was having a hard time discerning the original state from the new state was because of the additional trees. If we look back at the old photos, there were no trees. They took out all those trees. Here's a shot from September 22nd. That's a month ago, 5 weeks ago, and you can see that there's, it was pretty bare, and that's actually an improvement over some of the previous weeks. But you can see that they're putting in more trees there and kind of finishing things off a bit. Oh, and here's something that I just noticed. They've installed 4 posts. Interesting. What are those posts for? Okay, guys, chime in. What do you think those 4 posts are for? Fascinating. They're kind of low, right? Lights, maybe? Light poles, perhaps? I would love to see some concept art for this. All right, let's continue for a second. We'll move past that. Get a look at the queue. And we're stopping here, even though the tree's in our way, to kind of give another idea that, you know, when they're talking about the queue extension, I still don't see where that's going in terms of an awning or any kind of covering. I don't see a shade structure of some kind for whatever proposed extended queue that we may be expecting here. Are we going to get one at all? Are they going to extend the queue at all? Is that really what's happening? The mind wonders. We'll continue. They've taken down all the scaffolding, and there's water. We have water back on the Matterhorn, which is good news. That means, you know, again, we're getting close. They're done with whatever it is that they were doing in that sense. They put the water back in, and as we keep cruising by, we'll see one more little, there it is. There's some water right there. So, great news. I'm showing you this for no good reason. I finished my monorail, not no good reason. I finished my monorail ride, and when I got off, there was a bunch of guests being walked off Autopia because I guess it broke down. And it was kind of fun to see, you know, everybody. They all seem to be enjoying the opportunity to walk off Autopia through the track and through the trees. That was fun. Heading to Tiki Room, where I thought I was going to get the same shot as always, and wasn't sure if I was going to include this in the update. But then I noticed this. As we push in, they've constructed a thing, but I'm not 100% positive if this is new or what it is. I don't remember. I've never put the camera on this section here before, so I'm not really sure if this is something new or not, but I don't recognize it. I went back and looked at, this is footage from just last week, and so it's the same, because I shoot from the same angle, so that's the best, you know, chance we're going to get is seeing what it looked like, you know, even a week ago. And I mean, it does, there is the wall is there, or whatever it is that they're putting, but I don't see that sort of wagon wheel looking thing. Or, you know, maybe it's because I used the camera zoom instead of, you know, forcing a zoom with the software here. But I'd like to hear again your thoughts on it. And if that is that, what are we seeing here? Is that an old thing or a new thing? Or if, like I said, I never put the camera on this area before the Tiki Room went down for refurb, so I don't know what it looked like before. I know what the general area looked like, but not that specific space. And we'll continue. Interesting. I feel like we have not received the whole story here. There's definitely more to come. Has to be. Okay, Tropical Hideaway. Looks like they've reboarded up that area. Is that new? Again, I'm not sure. One of the things I noticed this week was that the areas on the roof where, you know, the thatching, or whatever you want to call that, the straw thatching roof, I don't know what the term is, looks like it's been repaired. And we got two okay looks through the knotholes. One is a very small little gap that I could see pretty well from left to right. I could scan the horizon a little bit, but I couldn't look up or down because the area was so small. So I scanned it as best I could here. And it does look like that yellow area is the new wall, I think, they had just put up when we were looking at this last week. And then we're going to switch to, there's another gap, but it was a really narrow gap, but more vertical. So I couldn't go left or right, I could just go up and down. So I had to find a spot and pick a spot and just go from top to bottom, like I'm doing here. And I was doing this very quickly because I felt eyes on me. I didn't want to dilly-dally, but there you go. Small World, the Small World Mall, or the Small World gift shop is back under Scrim. They put the Scrims back. And also, Small World's closed. There's some construction walls up there. They're getting ready for the holiday overlay. Can you believe that the holiday season, the Christmas season, is here, or almost here? Unbelievable. Yeah, so no Small World for a little while they do this, and you can see the first thing, obviously, is they put the little Santa hat on the glockenspiel, and then here's a look behind the walls a little bit. So, I mean, they just blocked it off, but there's no construction happening there. And if we push in a little bit, we'll see there are some of the Christmas lights already up. They do this very early, the Christmas lights. They do that very, very early. So there you go. Now we're going to close our update with the parking structure once again, and I thought maybe we'd see the second level sort of beginning, but not quite. They're still working on that. The rebar is being installed. We're very close, though, as always, to that connecting bridge. But it does look like they've extended the ramp, that weird seesaw-looking ramp that they're building for the top level. Why is it so uneven? I don't know. Is that normal? I don't remember the Mickey and Friends ramp looking like that. And you can also see there's a lot of construction materials on the, middle floors. And it makes me wonder, should we consider those areas incomplete then? I would think that they would complete it, but maybe not. Look, that's not done. I wonder how much more they have to go to do inside those middle levels. Like, when is it? Because you've got a bunch of people in there doing construction work. Hopefully it's safe. I'm assuming it is, obviously. But, yeah, there's a very wide view. That's the best we get these days of the parking structure. Don't get to see a lot of construction anymore. And then there is I'm just fascinated by I was just fascinated by the construction of this pedestrian, the guest hub, the walking, where they're going to exit the parking structure down to the ground level. This circular design of this thing is fascinating to me. Does anybody have like an idea? I'm not a social engineer, in terms of how these things are supposed to work. But is that for foot traffic only, or is that for, you're not going to see vehicles? Because I don't see anything to suggest that that's one of those deals where the cars can go round and round until they get to the bottom or the top or what have you. Is that just for guests? And so I don't know. Somebody, I feel so underinformed on this. This is the other piece of concept art. What is the purpose of that design, I wonder? And there it is in real life. I don't see cars there. No, right? No, that's guests only. That's pedestrian traffic only. Let's go back to the Magic Way and look at it from here. That's a tight radius to turn a car around, I think. Plus, as I mentioned, there's no, it's stacked. It's not a spiral. Right? It would be spiral-like if that was for cars. Why? Why? I don't understand. All right, well, I guess I'll leave it to you once more, Fresh Bake, to educate my dumbass on how this is supposed to work, because I don't get it. Let us know in the comments below, as always, and thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you chiming in and helping me out and enjoying these videos. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to stay tuned tomorrow for our Knothole Gang update, as always. We'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!
We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!